This is going to change everything. I am so excited about how Dibbs is going to revolutionize sports card investing. You have to watch this video. My name is Jeff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies, and at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me on my journey to profit from the hobby we all love. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to an extremely important show, because I feel like what I am going to tell you about today is going to revolutionize sports card investing. And I do not throw that term out around lightly, but I am that excited about what Dibbs is going to do to the sports card investing space. Several months ago, the founder of Dibbs, Vandenberg, came to me with his concept. And his concept was to create a real-time stock market for cards, where you could buy and sell fractions of a card instantly, just like fractional ownership. But unlike the fractional ownership companies that are out there today, Evan wanted to make it real-time and dynamic by turning cards into blockchain tokens, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, which now many of you are familiar with because of the popularity of NBA Top Shot. So Evan devised a system where he is taking cards and putting them in PWCC's vault for safekeeping. Those cards are then being turned into thousands of tokens on the blockchain, which can then be bought and sold through Dibbs' website. It is the ultimate combination of everything that is great about NBA Top Shot, but it is backed by real physical cards you want to collect, cards that you are familiar with, and cards that you can actually physically have sent to you and own. Because if you acquire 100% of the tokens for a particular card, then that card is now 100% yours, and you can request that it be sent to you. So I am serious when I say I think this is the best combination I have seen of marketplaces, fractional ownership, NFTs, blockchain, digital. It is all together. And the second that Evan showed this concept to me several months ago, I said, I want to be one of your very first investors. Let me write a check today and get in as an early investor in this thing, because I love it. And I did. And I also said, the moment this gets ready to launch, I want to tell my sports card investor audience all about it. And here we are. They are just a few weeks away from launching. But here's something really cool. By watching this episode today, we're going to give many of you out there early access so you can get in before the crowds on Dibbs. It's not yet available for the public to register for, but it can be available to some of you. What you need to do is go to sportscardinvestor.com, scroll down on the homepage just under the trending cards area, and put in your email address. That will allow you to register for early access to Dibbs. Now, we can't give early access to everybody, but we will give it to many of you who register and put your email address in. And if we can't give it to you soon, we'll keep you updated as to when you can get in and get your access to Dibbs. Also, we've set up a special referral code with Dibbs that when you do register, whether it's now or in the future, if you use referral code SCI Special, that's one word, SCI Special, you will get a free upgraded frac pack, a pack that you can open that will give you fractional bits of ownership of various cards across Dibbs' system to get you started. And you will get that pack for free simply by registering using referral code SCI Special, and then going through their Know Your Customer process and making a deposit. That's all you have to do. Make a deposit to get started in your account, and you'll get that upgraded sports card investor pack for free. This is really cool stuff, and I cannot wait to demo it for you. And to do the demo, I wanted to bring on the founder of Dibbs himself so that you could see the demo straight from him, and we can show you why I think this is going to revolutionize sports card investing. So let's bring Evan onto the show. Evan, welcome to Sports Card Investor.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Excited to be here.
Man, I'm so excited to have you on. I think the audience can feel my enthusiasm about Dibbs and how I think Dibbs is just going to revolutionize the sports card industry. So tell the audience how you got started with this idea.
Yeah, so I mean, it to some degree now, with the boom of NFTs and cards just taking this crazy market growth, it seems like an obvious idea, but when we had started thinking about Dibbs, a year plus ago, different names and everything else, but it really was a product of my experience in both the digital item trading. So, virtual economies within games and having secondary markets for those. And then later on in my career, working with Wax, the blockchain, and bringing a bunch of the, early leading NFT projects to that space. And kind of the most notable one, certainly for, in context of Dibbs and its impetus, was bringing Topps in to do their Garbage Pail Kids blockchain collectibles. And so that was, it's been over a year, I think, at this point. And it was probably another 2 years before that we were actually working on the deal. It took them a little bit of time to get over the hurdles of, the digitization of their assets and really the blockchain component. But yeah, long story short with Topps was I started working with them. I started pulling out my old cards and just went heavy back into card trading. And I was just shocked. I just kept Googling things okay, besides eBay, what could I do? And really it kind of seemed like the marketplace side of collectibles had really stagnated, at least from my perspective, leaving, at least on a hiatus of 7 to 8 years on card trading to coming back to it. It just felt like the world had evolved rapidly in the worlds that I was living in. And it had kind of left this particular, ecosystem, I don't know if behind's the right word, but it just felt so ripe for innovation. And so Dibbs is really a product of me opening up hundreds of boxes from eBay and being there's a better way to do this, at least for me and certainly younger generation and certainly a lot of different use cases.
Yeah. And what's unique about Dibbs is it's a little bit of a different model. And look, we love eBay here on Sports Card Investor. We're big fans of eBay, but you're doing something distinctively different. You've taken, I think, the best of NBA Top Shot and the concepts of blockchain and NFTs and all of that, and combined it with the physical cards that people like to collect. So it's actually kind of a digital asset that's physically backed. What, in your opinion, if you're telling someone about Dibbs for the first time, a lot of our audience is hearing about it for the first time today, how do you describe what makes Dibbs so special and why it's going to be so revolutionary?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It depends on who I'm talking to, right? And which hat I have on. If I'm talking to somebody who's familiar with Top Shot, okay, that's a very different conversation. And so for the Top Shot crowd, right, and we'll keep this brief, look, Top Shot's awesome. You're not going to find a bigger fan of the world moving to that ecosystem, or at least that becoming a vertical that's possible and accessible to people than myself, fan of Roham, team, and a lot of the folks over there. But again, that's they're creating IP out of current moments. And what we're doing is we're taking something that's got, 100 plus years of trading value and, consistent trading value. And obviously it's grown a lot. And we're taking that and we're combining it with the power of NFT. So really what Dibbs is it's NFT backed, backed by physical assets. So you've got, a LeBron James rookie card, there's an NFT, but there's actually a card sitting in a vault that's representative of that. And then we go ahead and we take that a step further and fractionalize that NFT to really allow for all sorts of different things we can get into, but, much different points of entry into very meaningful cards that people would, on most budgets, right? Even if you've got quite a bit of money, it's very hard to get into one of those $100,000 cards. So it's the fractional piece from a cost perspective, but also from a liquidity and market perspective, we can actually, showcase and utilize a much, much different trading ecosystem, trading experience for people.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And look, I know people are anxious to see it. So the product right now, it is in the App Store, but you have to have an invite code at this moment to get on it, right? You can't just log in without one of these special invite codes. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, and hopefully, this kind of invite only period, I don't know how long it's going to last. It's really for us to ramp up, right? It's this is obviously we're dealing with people's money, we're dealing with cards. A lot of the stuff's on blockchain, so it's a very it's sensitive, and so we wanted to make sure that we scaled up, got people in kind of a more streamlined fashion, and made sure that everything was there, right? We don't want to get to a point where our system's bombarded and we just aren't able to handle it, or some sort of scaling issue that doesn't meet the user's expectations. So we're really just trying to protect against that. And hopefully in the next, month, 6 weeks, we'll get out of that beta and everybody will be free for all.
Yeah, I mean, totally smart way of doing it. I totally respect that. You don't want to open up the floodgates all at first. You want to pressure test it a little bit. Here's really good news for my audience listening, and that is that we are giving certain people watching this video early access to Dibbs before the rest of the world gets access. You can have your chance at getting early access by going to sportscardinvestor.com, scrolling right below the trending cards area right there on the homepage, and putting your email address in that sign-up box. And Evan and his team are going to randomly pick people off of the list who sign up and send them early access. So you're not guaranteed to get it, but you have a chance of getting early access by signing up through sportscardinvestor.com through that email box. And then if you do get into the Dibbs app, don't forget to use referral code SCI Special to get that extra frac pack that I talked about in the intro. You're going to want to do that. Okay, Evan, so let's see the product, because not everybody's going to be able to get in tonight, after watching this video and see it, but I'm sure they're anxious to see more about this. So let's fire up a screen share and show it to them.
I've been doing a lot of testing. My portfolio is not the greatest, but so this is really the kind of the first screen you're going to see when you get to Dibbs. So what this screen is, our homepage, is really a snapshot of everything that's going on in the app and really of all the cards and athletes that, we have a collection for that are available to our audience. So, I can come here, look at my balance, check it out over time. You can get a snapshot of 1 month versus 1 day and see how you're performing over time. And then we've got, a trending player section. And really what this is showing is just like what's moving a bunch, right? Whether it's up, down, or sideways, we want to know what's moving. And so there's, another kind of explore section where you can look by league. You can start scrolling through, the different leagues and see who's doing what and where the markets are kind of shifting, right? I mean, you guys obviously do this at an extremely high level at Market Movers, but this is our snapshot for the Dibbs ecosystem, which, can follow, very closely to, we'll call it the general market prices, but also it's a different kind of experience in and of itself. And so assets can move in different directions. So we've got, below there, a trending top gainers, again, more of a snapshot of what's going on. A little bit of a learn more section, right? So it's obviously a new product. It's a different experience that people are used to. A fair amount of educational material here for you to kind of learn and read about that. And then some general news. I'm sure we'll get some Sports Card Investor stuff up there shortly.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And then on the drops tab, I mean, this is kind of probably the experience, at least anybody who's used, Rally or Collectible or Otis for that matter, where this is for them. I think it's their initial offerings. For us, we call them drops. And what it allows you to do is the cards are listed, and we can actually look at one that's not fully sold out, although these we put up yesterday and darn near everything is gone. So yeah, if we just take a look at Josh Allen, right? You can come in here, with a click of a button. You can put, anywhere up to 5% of the value of the card per person. So the reason we did that is we didn't want, one whale coming in. We didn't want Jeff to just jump in and eat up a card that was a good deal. We wanted to actually have, bare minimum of 20 people who could at least get that. And truthfully, it's been way higher than that. I think it's been, 50 to 75 contributors on any of these. So, just to give you a sense of what that looks like, let me just put $5. And again, I think, your minimum buy here is anywhere from $1 to, conceivably tens of thousands of dollars. So you can get in, really on any budget. And I think that's really core to what we're doing. We're trying to make this more accessible for people. The card space, certainly the high quality card space, more accessible and really, just provide a different, and more fun experience in my perspective or from my perspective.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you've got the drops where people are going to, as you said, you're going to be putting new cards in there. People should expect new cards in there every week?
Right now we're doing it, weekly. I actually I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of what's coming next week, and I'm sure we'll market around this a little bit more, but next week's going to be a bit of a GOAT drop. So it's going to be MJ, Kobe, LeBron's, a bunch of each of those athletes' cards, some really cool stuff. Everything, and one other thing to just note on this platform, everything has to be graded. The way we operate this business, we just can't deal with raw cards at this moment in time. There's just too much variance and too much fraud around that.
Yeah, totally get that. I mean, that makes sense if you're investing, across a lot of cards, knowing you're getting great condition, graded cards, that makes sense. So you've got the drops, but then once a card is sold out on the drop, it moves to the markets, right? And that's kind of the secondary marketplace where that's where really a lot of the action is going to occur. Is that right? Show us that.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So, I mean, that was a perfect segue. So, yeah, so what we have here is our markets. And really, this is your place to research, find, and ultimately trade any of the cards on our platform. I think the biggest thing to note before we kind of jump into this is the distinction between players and cards and Dibbs. So, I think one of the key things about Dibbs is that again, it's about accessibility. It's about our kind of like whole ethos as a company, but we wanted to simplify sports card trading, right? And I think a lot of people, and to grow this hobby, I think you do have to simplify it. I mean, look at, all of your videos, right? I mean, we're talking about nuances of like, you would have to spend so many hours to get to a point where you're truly an expert in cards. Whereas really a lot of people are betting on players, right? Or buying into players and collecting players. And so with this markets, with the entire app, we always do things with a player first model. So you can buy players, which would be basically you take, and we'll just show you an example. So Russell Wilson, for instance, so he's got 2 cards down here. And ultimately you can imagine, right, work with me, there could be 100 cards, 1,000 cards theoretically, but all of them are Russell Wilson's cards. And they're, right now we've got, his Topps Chrome and his Panini Prism from his rookie season, both PSA 10s. And instead of actually picking between the cards, you can instead choose to buy a piece of his entire collection, where we place a buy order across all of his cards, proportional to the amount of, like, if you're putting $100 in, we proportionally place that across all of his different cards in his collection. So, here, if I want to put $5 on Russell Wilson, we can come in, we can see what we're getting of each, and we can click, buy.
Yeah, that is an absolutely game-changing, incredible feature. There is no other, site like that right now, that it's literally you're selling the mutual fund, the index fund for every particular player. So it's such a cool feature that if you want to get in and invest in Luka, or invest in Zion, or invest in Josh Allen, or invest in Gretzky, or whoever it might be from whatever sport, you can just go in and you can buy the card and buy a piece of each card, or you can just buy the player and get that little piece of all of the players' portfolio across the entire system. What an awesome way to diversify across different sets, different years, all that type of thing for a particular player. Game-changing feature. I absolutely love that, Evan.
Yeah, and I think a fast follow, not to go down the weeds too much, but for everything, and again, this comes back to how we did this technologically, right? I mean, everything's virtually infinitely fractional, and you can slice and dice things in really interesting buckets. So players is the most obvious bucket, but to get to one of the points you made, I mean, we could also do a 2003 Topps basketball set, right? And everybody who's got a 2003 Topps basketball card, PSA 10 basketball card, we could bucket that. So I think there's going to ultimately be it'll be cards at the base, players, and then we'll call them buckets, whatever it may be there. And I think that'll be a kind of a fun thing for people who are looking to get in on a particular set or an era, right? And yeah, so I think there's a lot that can go on with that functionality.
Absolute game changer. Yeah, one of the many reasons why I love what you're doing. Anything else you want to show us in the app right now?
Yeah, let's just do like a quick. Why don't we just do this Durant card? So, I mean, just to show people what that actual buying experience looks like. So it is really fundamentally different than what you're seeing elsewhere in terms of the fractional space. And really, I think across the board this is a live, order book. And there are live orders in here. You can see, where everything is bought and sold in recent history. You can go in here, look at the sell orders, look at the buy orders in a very different, pretty easy to use fashion. I realize order books aren't like innately understood by everybody, but I think, a little bit of playing around in the app and you can do some incredible research. And then, you can come in and you can buy again, single click buy type of concept here. And this is the instant buy, or you can do a conditional buy, which is, okay, so the card's at $10,203 right now. Let me put a buy order in at just 10,000 flat, because that's what I think the value point is for me, right? So I can come in here, I can do the exact same thing, set my own price, and I actually go ahead and now place an order on the book. And now you can see this. If this fills, you can track your progress here. So that's the buying experience. And yeah, I mean, the last kind of feature here and something we can quickly touch on is your collection, and then how easily you can put money on the platform and take money off the platform. And it's not to compare or contrast this to Top Shot, but I know there's been a bit of an issue there. Where you can sign up very readily, and then it takes a little bit of time to get verified to withdraw your cash. And I think, with Dibbs, it's a bit more upfront work, right? We have a KYC process. So for those of you that do get in early and those of you that come in, in a couple of weeks, you will have a KYC process in the beginning. And what KYC really is by United States law, you have to know your customer. And that's really an identity verification system. And so that's kind of the first process you do. You add some details, you upload 2 photos, basically your driver's license. And then we have an AI system that, our bank and custodial services provide, and they check it, scan it, and it takes 1 to 3 minutes unless there's a problem. So once you're KYC though, it is really simple to go in and add money. I can come in here, I can choose credit card 1, and I can put $100 on the platform. Relatively simple process.
Yeah, very, very quick. Not having to deal with transferring cryptocurrency in to get the money in or anything like that. It's just super, super easy to get it in. And is it as easy to get it out?
Yeah, same thing. Right now, by the time people actually see this video, we'll have ACH integrated. It's just getting through the last kind of rigorous testing period. But yeah, so you can link your bank account, very similar to what you do on PayPal. Log in with Plaid, and you can just deposit your money that way. So yeah, it's pretty seamless. The collection view, obviously you can see everything you hold. You can look at it in a couple different ways. You can see the players and how your player, if you look at your players holistically, how each of them is performing. I think, again, coming back to this player-centric model. So yeah, that is basically the short tour of the app. And I have it in light mode. I'll show you guys. Everyone seems to like dark mode better. I like light mode better, but
People love their dark modes. Very cool.
It's crazy, huh?
This is awesome, Evan. And I want to remind the audience once again, 2 really important things. If you want your chance at winning early access, go right now to sportscardinvestor.com. Scroll a little bit down on the homepage, and where there is the box to enter your email address, put in your email address. We're going to pull some random people out to give them early access. And when you do get your chance to get on the Dibbs platform, whenever that might be, use referral code SCI special, all one word, because that is going to give you a bonus extra, or it's going to give you an enhanced frac pack, I should say, when you make your first deposit and go through that know your customer process. Evan, I want to wrap on this. Where do you see this going? Like, what are your goals? Where would you love to see this go in the years ahead?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jeff. I mean, for me, look, right, I think we've got so much in the short term to focus on with sports cards. I think if we take a look at Dibbs and some of the things it allows, I think it's a totally different type of collecting that can ultimately happen here. So I think, there's elements of fantasy sports with this, right? I mean, you follow it all the time where price valuations are going up and down based on, player performance. All sorts of things can move the needle. I mean, look, not to, injuries, off the court stuff. So there's like this really kind of cool capacity there. Long term, I really would like to start kind of stepping out of just sports card. We obviously there's other TCGs like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh, all billion-dollar businesses in and of them, in and of their own right, and also just like a whole different audience. So I think there's ways to land and expand with sports. Right, there's enough there. I think NFTs like Top Shot, some of these other things. I think you're going to see that sooner rather than later. Certainly sports-based ones. On the platform. So I think long story short is I think sports cards, and then we go TCGs, and then I think the NFT world is got an incredible amount of opportunity, and it's really simple to add that stuff. So I think, that's kind of the 2 to 3 year horizon. And maybe we start making some NFTs of our own at some point. That could be an interesting, capacity as well.
It's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch this grow. I'm excited to be part of it, excited to be supporting what you're doing. Evan, thanks so much for showing us this today and joining Sports Card Investor. Man, isn't that awesome? I am so excited about some of those features, like the ability to invest on a player level and get fractions across all of their cards. And also the fact that you can get your money in and out quickly, and you can buy these tokens for like $1 or $2 in some cases. You can just get in with just little bits of money if you want on different players, watch the market go in real time, buy and sell quickly. I love the concept. It's really cool. And make sure you sign up for early access, the possibility of getting early access. Go to sportscardinvestor.com, scroll down the homepage right below trending cards, and enter your email address. And then when you do get the opportunity to register, use referral code SCI special, all one word. So you get that upgraded free frac pack for registering and making your first deposit. I am excited, guys, about this. If you cannot tell, I'm super excited about this. I know you guys will be as well when you get the chance to use it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, or if you have any questions. We are revolutionizing the hobby, one new product and app at a time. It is an exciting time to be part of this, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate all of you watching. Please give our channel a subscribe if you haven't already. Click that little bell icon, and we will see you back here in a couple of days with our next episode. Take care.